Good morning, everyone. This is Stevie Breach coming to you. Last night, I watched a very bad event. Mostly, I was on WWE.com. I was looking through their SummerSlam pictures. I guess they were calling it pictures you had never seen before. And they were showing all of the views of, I guess, this Wembley Stadium over in the UK for SummerSlam 1992. It had been a long time since I'd seen SummerSlam 92, and when I think about SummerSlam 92, most of the time, I can't really think of a lot of the things that are on the card. I can't remember a lot of the matches, and so I decided that I was going to get up, and I was going to put that in. I watched it off of my SummerSlam anthology. It's in volume number 1. There's a few pictures on the box from the event. You got Bulldog and Bret Hart there, Bulldog and Bret Hart on the back. You got... There's Undertaker and Kamala right there. Repo Man and Crush. There's some more of Bret and Bulldog. I guess you can tell by the box how awesome that match is. But, honestly, when you look over the rest of it, this was the shits. You can honestly say, the Bret Hart versus British Bulldog match is on probably 5 DVDs off the top of my head. It's a real classic match. Honestly, I'll talk about that later. But honestly, when it comes down to it, I think there's 3 good matches on this card, and 2 of them in the legitimately. I want to give the Michaels versus Martel match some good credit, but the way it ends, it doesn't leave a good taste in your mouth. But it is definitely fun for what it is. One of the big things that sort of hangs over this card is the debut of Ric Flair, and Ric Flair coming into the WWF, and he's sort of politicking for a shot at the title. He wants to take on either the winner of the Ultimate Warrior versus Randy Savage match, and the big thing, I don't really remember this as I was growing up watching this and sticking this in. Like I said, I don't remember a lot of the stuff about here, but one of the things leading up to this was Sean Mooney was kept on trying to get the scoop on during the show was whose corner Mr. Perfect was going to be in. I don't know why Mr. Perfect was going to manage either Randy Savage or Ultimate Warrior, but more than likely it was just because 2 good guys were going at it for the title, and they probably wanted to have they wanted the fans at home to have some sort of a feeling like one of these guys was, I guess, going to turn heel on the other, and maybe get the scoop on who was going to win the title. The first match of the night, honestly, really, really surprised me. It's the Legion of Doom, who has one of the most awesomest entrances in WWF history, with them riding the bikes down the long, real long ramp down to the ring, and the crowd was going crazy. They fought against Money Inc. This was pretty sure this was the Tag Team Championship match, wasn't it? No, because the Tag Team Champions were the Natural Disasters. What a waste. But I could have swore that Legion of Doom were champions. They wore gold shoulder pads, and I thought they were wearing gold shoulder pads because they were the champs, but I guess not. But these guys beat the hell out of each other. On paper, I would think the Legion of Doom would come down and they would honestly just squash Money Inc. This match went about 15 minutes, and Money Inc. was able to answer a lot the Legion of Doom had to give them. There was some back and forth. They had the freaking Paul Ellering was the manager at this time when they were trying to regain their championship form. He had his little stubby doll. I can't remember who that was, but Legion of Doom versus Money Inc. honestly is the second best match on this card. I was really surprised. I love me some tag team action. There's a lot of tag team matches on this card, not good ones. This is it. Hopefully, I can't remember what event came after this. It would be Survivor Series 92. I can't think if they got a title shot at that show off the top of my head, but LOD definitely deserved one after beating Money Inc. this night. Next match of the night was Nailz, who I guess the only thing this character was really came up for was to fight the Big Boss Man. But tonight, He was fighting Virgil. I know that Nailz didn't last that long. I know that he was supposed to go from fighting the Boss Man to going into some sort of a feud with the Undertaker, and that's when he basically went and he choked out Vince McMahon, and that's when he got fired. But tonight he fought Virgil, and not a good match. But I made a video a while ago about how I don't think WrestleMania will ever go to the UK. But, you know, the UK does deserve to have big shows. Insurrection, Rebellion. These shows are awesome. They deserve those. They deserve some sort of a pay-per-view. Something where these fans can go crazy and it means something. Because at SummerSlam, there was a lot of seats that you couldn't see anything. I think that they had worse views for SummerSlam than they did for WrestleMania 3. WrestleMania 3, I mean, you were sitting a mile away to watch that match if you were sitting in the top deck, but at least they had those big, huge screens everywhere all throughout the arena where you could at least be watching TV. I didn't see really any good views of some screens and some seats, and you know, people were still sitting in them, and they were going crazy for Virgil when he came out. That's probably the highlight of the match, just Virgil's entrance, and that crowd giving that huge pop to Virgil, and he's running down the aisle, pumping that fist. Good shit. Shawn Michaels versus Virgil. I apologize. Shawn Michaels versus Rick Martel. This match with two guys being well, they're heels, but being baby faces, I guess you can say, with the model good-looking gimmicks. Pre-match stipulation was neither man could hit each other in the face, which adds some good stuff into this match. I guess they're really fighting over Sensational Sherry. She was in a neutral corner for this match because she didn't want to see either guy beat each other up. The match ends in a double countout, basically because Sherry Martel faints because the two guys break their stipulation. They're slapping each other in the face. Sherry, if it's supposed to be that she really fainted, it's some of the worst acting and some of the worst camera views of all time. If she was acting like she fainted, so the guys would stop fainting, or so the guys would stop fighting, it was freaking awesome. Shawn carried her in the back. She doesn't have any, I don't know what the fuck to say. Her ass is hanging out because basically she cut the ass out of her pants, and you know, Michaels has her over the shoulder, rolling it up on there. There's a spot in the match when basically they're rolling each other up over and over and over again, and Michaels' ass and Martel's ass is all over the TV screen. It was not good. From there we went to the Natural Disasters, Earthquake and Typhoon taking on the Beverly Brothers for the Tag Team Championship in a match that just honestly would not end. It was not good. Crush fought Repo Man after that in a match that was about 5 minutes. Crush and Repo Man, both from Demolition. They don't ever really show off that, or you know, they don't really tell the story that both these guys are from Demolition because they're in different gimmicks after that thing ended. But this match was just really just to show off how big and powerful Crush was, and he, you know, beat the crap out of him. Warrior and Savage were having a good match until Flair came out there. Basically, they just broke the match out, and this is the second match of that night that ended in a what does this end in? It ends in a countout, or it might have been a disqualification, one or the other. But basically, Flair and Perfect were out there causing havoc. Warrior was on a roll. Warrior was probably going to win the title this night if it wasn't for them. He was probably going to beat Savage, and they hit Warrior with a chair on the outside. Savage was inside the ring, was able to see that he was getting an unfair advantage, so he went up to the top rope. And as he was coming off the top rope with the double arm axe handle to come down on Flair and Perfect, they whaled him right in the knee with a chair. Warrior ran off. Perfect and Flair chased him all the way to the back. I never really heard a bell. Savage got in the ring, and he was selling the injury to his knee in the ring, just sitting there holding it. And like I said, I didn't hear a bell, so I thought Warrior was just going to come running down the ramp, get in there, and pin him. So it was a little bit of a suspenseful, like, oh my gosh, Warrior's going to win the title, even though this happened freaking 15 years ago, and I don't remember him beating him, but, I was taken away for a second. This was honestly a real good match. It would have been a whole lot better without Flair and Perfect, but once Warrior hit the ring, that's when everything started to slow down. They played the music, and you learned the match ended. I don't know if it ended in count out or disqualification, but one way or another, this match could have been a whole lot better without it. From there we went Undertaker versus Kamala. Taker had a really, really cool entrance during this. It reminds me a lot of the WrestleMania when he was hanging on the back of the hearse, and he had the freaking vulture on the perch, and he went out there and he fought Giant Gonzalez that night. But just like that, he came out there and he fought Kamala tonight. I mean, Undertaker had one of the coolest gimmicks in the world back then, but there wasn't a whole lot of guys for him to work with, and him and Kamala really wasn't that great in a DQ, and I wish I could have a whole lot more. They filmed some dark matches, for that they aired on Primetime Wrestling. One was Jim Duggan and the Bushwhackers going up against the Mountie and the Nasty Boys. Another was Papa Shango against Tito Santana, and another was Tatanka versus Berserker. As a kid, I didn't get to watch a lot of Primetime Wrestling, but I just think that would have stood out and been really weird. That out of the middle of nowhere, the matches that most of the time they did show were just filmed on random house shows and random TV tapings, and here they are fighting in front of 100,000 people at Wembley Stadium. I don't know. I've never seen these matches, and they sort of want to go out and try and find them, because I think they didn't show them until they held on to them for a real long time before they finally showed them. I think it was like in November or October or something like that. But basically, I just think it would have been weird to see those. And the Bret Hart versus the British Bulldog match is a match that honestly I think is very good. One of the best wrestling matches I've ever seen. But somehow Bret Hart keeps talking about these matches. And the more and more I hear about these matches, is he just says that Bulldog was just sort of there and didn't have anything to offer up into the match, and Bret was the guy that sort of led him around the ring and made sure everything happened. And on the Stone Cold Steve Austin podcast, he told the story about the ending of the match when Bulldog pins Bret, and Bret's trying to dip out on him, make him look like he's going to do a heel turn. And he told British Bulldog what to do. He said, "Don't look at anybody, just look at me and have your hand out there like you're trying to get me to shake my hand." And the Bulldog is looking out around the crowd, like he's playing up to them, like, this guy's not going to fucking shake my hand. And Bret says that it just would have been a whole lot of a better, more special moment if he just would have stood there and they would have locked eyes the whole time, and he wouldn't have been playing off around the arena. And I don't know if it was longer and they cut it up to make it look better, but you can tell Bret was just rolling his eyes at the Bulldog when he went in there to shake his hands. And there's a whole bunch of other stories like that when you listen to other shooting reviews and podcasts about Bret sort of just saying that the match was all his. He was the guy who planned it and mapped it all out. It just makes it seem like Davey Boy was just there for the ride and Bret was wrestling a broom that night. But every time I see the match and I think about all the things Bret said about it, it sort of knocks it down a peg. It makes it not as special. The match is really, really good. But just when you learn a lot of things about the backstage happenings of wrestling, it sort of makes some matches not so great anymore. But that was SummerSlam 1992. Honestly, in my opinion, I would tell you to just stay away. Keep it like WrestleMania 2, where you throw it in the vault and you never watch it again. Mm-hmm. It's definitely fun to see the crowd action of everybody there, and in Wembley Stadium going crazy for everything. I guess the attendance was 80,000. That's a fuckload of people over there. And if you were there in London, England, or you are in London, England, that's something to be really proud of, and you should be started using that as your thing, trying to get a big event like WrestleMania or SummerSlam again. Don't take SummerSlam, never mind. But to have a match in the early 90s when wrestling was on the they didn't have Hogan. Hogan wasn't there, so I mean, like, that's the thing, to get 80,000 people in there at that time. That's an accomplishment, and that's good shit. But just like WrestleMania 2, keep this locked up. This isn't one you need to be watching. That Bret vs. Davey Boy is on probably 5 other DVDs you can watch it on. The LOD versus the Money Inc. Hopefully that's on the LOD DVD, and you can check that out on there. But everything else, there ain't no Best of Virgil DVD. You ain't seen that anywhere else. Peace out, guys.